Hi guys, so welcome to my YouTube channel. Now this YouTube channel is dedicated to learning data science from scratch, and we are in the data analysis playlist. Now today what we're going to be looking at is generating random data using Pandas and NumPy. Now before we go on with that, subscribe to this channel if you are starting data science from scratch. Right, and we're going to be using Python to do that. Now, here's the scenario, right? So what we must do is we must generate random data, right? So we must generate random data. Now, why are we going to generate random data? The assumption here is that you want to have data that looks like something in the real world, right? And so you need to have data and you need to make sense of maybe certain distributions or just play around and learn how it feels like to see what patterns and distributions are like. But now the whole idea is to see how do we use Python and Pandas and NumPy techniques to spin off a data set. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to generate random data. And how do we do that? First thing we're going to do is we are going to import the packages. So we're going to import the packages. Now the packages we're going to import is NumPy and Pandas. So Pandas is a data analysis data manipulation package, right? So we're going to import Pandas as PD, and we're going to import NumPy for numerical Python, which is making numerical analysis pretty easy and fast, right? So we'll do that as NP. So I run this. So we bring this into our namespace. So typically we already have all this. Now, next thing is our random data. What's it going to be like? So we want 20,000 records. So we want 20,000 records, and we are going to assume we're going to be looking at stuff like age. We're going to be looking at age. We're going to be looking at salary. We don't have this data though, but we're going to generate it, right? We're going to be looking at, what do we look at? We're going to look at height. We're going to be looking at say years on a job, maybe a total years of the job, and we're going to be looking at weight, right? Now, so there's no typically no idea around getting all this, but just for us to look at what the data looks like. So 20,000 records and all this. So how do we get started? Now the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to set the number. So I'm going to set the number of records. So the number of records we want is what I'm going to have here. So I'm just going to call this num_records. That's what this variable is. And inside we're going to have 20,000, right? So that's the first. Now the next thing is we're going to generate the data using NumPy for the columns, right? So that's the one we're going to do next. So after this, now just walk with me on this. And of course, we're going to pick up so many skills here. So you get to know how to use all these tools, all Python, NumPy, all these packages and libraries, to manipulate and do data analysis. Now, next we're going to do is, what we're going to do? We're going to generate data using NumPy for the columns. Right, now to do that, I'm going to generate the first one. I'm going to generate is age, right? So I'm going to have age as the variable. I'm going to use np.random, which is a NumPy method, and then we're going to have .randint. Look at it. So I'm just going to use my shift and tab, and you're going to see it. So what it does is it returns random integers from low, which is inclusive, to high, which is exclusive. So we're going to get random integers because we are trying to create for age. Now, our assumption here is that we're going to be looking at ages 21, and 37. So that means it's 36 actually. So that's why the high is excluded. And it's going to have our number of records, right, which is 20,000. So that's the first we've created. Let's put 1 here. So that's the first we've created here. So boom, we have this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to generate salary. So this is salary. So what's going to be the idea for the salary? So first I'm going to write salary as the variable, and then I'm going to say np dot, I'm going to still use the same random dot randint. So I'm going to go random dot randint, and then I'm going to say the lowest salary is going to start from, say, 20,000. And then the highest is going to be 500,000. And so to make it, in order to get 500,000, we're going to put a number that's going to be excluded. So that's going to be 500,001. See that? And again, we're going to have a number of records. Right, so again, you see that. So we are going to be working with this. Here we've got age 21 and 37. Here we have this. So we have our salary here. So we're going to create this. Now the final one for this first part of generating random data is going to be height. So we're going to have this and height. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to basically say we're going to have like a random floats, right, between 5'3", which is 5 feet 3 inches, and 6 foot. No, did I say 5 feet? 6 foot 3 inches. Then 6 foot 7. 6 foot 7 inches, 7 inches height. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be using. 6.7 feet. Right. So everything here is going to be in feet and inches. Right. So we're typically assuming. So our assumptions are that the folks who are going to be 21 to 36, and then from 20,000 to 500,000 are going to be between 5.3 feet, 6.7 feet tall. So that's what we're going to be using. And also, let's also set this up so we know. So we know that 1 foot is equals to 12 inches. So that's for a fact, right? Then, so that means we're going to have 5 feet 3 inches, which is going to be equal to 5.25. So, yep, that's what it's going to be. Then 6 feet 7 inches is actually going to be 6.583. Right? So you just do the math and you see that it works out. And then finally, we're going to say height and np dot random, and this is so interesting about NumPy. You can find different generate different kind of numbers using different kind of distributions, right? So we're going to call this uniform. So if I use Shift and Tab here, you're going to see it's going to draw samples from a uniform distribution, right? So that's what we're going to do. Here you say samples are uniformly distributed over the half open integer low and high. Includes low but excludes high. In other words, any value within the given interval is equally likely to be drawn by uniform. So you see, our intervals, right? So our interval is going to be with this. We are going to draw everything between 5.25 and 6 dot 583. Don't worry, we're not going to even take anything away from it. So we just then we'll have number of records. So that's num_records. So now we now have three features. Here we have our age, our salary, and our height. And so in the next video, so stick to this. In the next video, we're going to be looking at years in the job and weight. Then we'll go on to create our data frame. How about that? So please stick with us. We're going to be in the next part. So remember, like, subscribe, and if you're starting data science from scratch, this is where you should be.